of chapter 6. Yato yato nishcharati manaschanchalamastiram tatastato niyamyaitat atmanyeva vasham nayet prashantamanasam henam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutama kalmasham yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute sarvabhutastamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वा स्थितिं स्थिरां चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढम् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति। Verse number 29. We'll continue.
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः.
United to the self by yoga, he sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. He sees the same everywhere. united to the self by yoga. He sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. He sees the same everywhere. What is spiritual unfoldment? What is that gaining knowledge means? Sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. He sees the same everywhere. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. He sees the same everywhere. Ignorance is seeing the differences. Knowledge is perceiving, seeing the unifying factor. Knowledge is in and through the differences, you see the unifying factor. You see the differences, and then you understand that there is something unifying everything. That is knowledge. Ignorance is you do not see the unifying factor at all, you see only the differences. That is ignorance. What is the unifying factor? Elsewhere he said, Sutre Manigana Iva. The, the string that hold the beads together. The string that hold the beads together. The string is not seen, the beads are seen. And the fact that the beads are held together, you understand the unseen string. The beads are seen, the string is not seen. But the fact that the beads are held together is the proof of the string. So you see the beads, and the beads are of various color, various shape, various size. The beads are all of this nature. And the string that unites everything is the same. In that sense, he sees the same everywhere. Sarvatra Sama Darshanha. Seeing the same everywhere. Another example. All this can be explained only through examples. Seeing everywhere, seeing the same everywhere can be explained only through upamana, examples. It cannot be conveyed by any other means. You see the waves and understand the water. You see the waves and you understand the water. Ocean. Ocean means water. You see the waves and you understand the ocean. You see the ornaments and you see and you understand the gold. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. I have given this example even before. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives a beautiful example. How does the thief looks at various ornaments? He asks. How does the thief look at various ornaments? There are various ornaments, various shapes, various sizes. He is not interested in the He's not interested in the shape, the size of the ornament. He's not in, what does he see? He sees the gold. In and through the various ornaments, he sees the gold. In that sense, one he sees the same everywhere. Sarvatra Sama Darshana. Seeing the same everywhere is an indication that your attention has shifted. From the practical standpoint, seeing the same everywhere means your attention has shifted. When your attention shifts to the unifying factor, more and more and more of unifying factor you see, sameness is understood. You can see as individuals, all are individuals. The moment you say family, what happens? What happens? All don't die, all don't disappear. What happens? There is the sameness. There is the family being the unifying factor. You understand? The same. My country. The moment you say my country, there is the unifying factor. Human beings, there is a unifying factor. All living beings, unifying factor. So when you see the unifying factor, what it implies is your vision has become broader. Your vision has become broader. When you don't see the unifying factor, you are more caught up in your self-centeredness. A person cannot see the unifying factor because he is caught up in self-centeredness. To unify, you need to move out of the self-centeredness. So even in a family, to identify even with the family is difficult. To identify with the family itself is very, very difficult. It's not easy. Our identification is there as long as you are pampered and catered. That's all. Yeah, as long as you are pampered, you are catered, some identification happens. The moment that stops, this also stops. Therefore, what is Sarvatra Samadarshanaha? Sarvatra Samadarshanaha is a unifying vision by which the distinctions and differences stop affecting you. Samadarshanaha means seeing the unifying factor by which the distinctions and differences stop affecting you. Number two, the distinctions and differences is not a hindrance to serve them. The distinctions and differences is not a hindrance to serve. Otherwise, there is lot of hindrances that you have to serve others. No. What is the hindrance? First hindrance, they don't deserve my service. They don't deserve it. So there are hindrances. The moment Samadarshanaha comes, service and sacrifice becomes natural, automatic. Sarvatra Samadarshana. He says the real test of unfoldment, the 3 verses 29 to 32, is the test of unfoldment. Meaning, if you are having these qualities, you are unfolding. Finally, we will talk about the ultimate unfoldment. That is very easy to talk. That is very easy to explain. He sees Brahman everywhere. He sees the consciousness everywhere. That's all. It's over. After that, what do you talk? After that, what is there to understand? The moment we say he sees the same everywhere. But then on a practical plane, on a plane where we can understand for our sadhana purposes, what is seeing the same everywhere? The ability to serve comes from the oneness. You can serve where there is oneness. Seeing the same everywhere means there is a oneness. Oneness means you are able to see the fault, you are able to understand the fault and still not be affected by it, bothered by it. You can keep it aside and continue to serve. That's the beauty of unfoldment. Otherwise, you have conditions to serve. You always have terms and conditions to serve. What are the terms and conditions to serve? The other person must be ethical, must be moral, must be good, must be unselfish, preferably selfless. So much of terms and conditions you put to serve the other. This is not unfoldment at all. It means there is no unfoldment at all that has happened. Therefore, what does it mean? Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. He sees a oneness. Relatively, what is the oneness? Everybody is in need of help. How I can be of some help? That is Samadarshanaha. There is not a single human being who's not in need of help. There is not a single human being who is not in need of help. Your focus is how I can be of help. Your attention is how I can be of some help. That is the unfoldment. Though the verse talks about, carefully follow, though the verse talks about the self-realized person, that is too much to comprehend, that is almost impossible to understand. Now, we are breaking it up to see what he did that he has come to this point now. What did he practice? What did he do that he has come to this level? What did he do? Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. A beautiful quality, a beautiful test of unfoldment. Seeing the same doesn't mean he doesn't understand the differences. It's not that seeing the same everywhere, he will come and say, I will give you half a kilo of stone, you give me half the kilo of gold, both are same. No. He will not do that. He will not come and say, I will give you crystal, glass crystal, you give me Kohinoor diamond. Both are one and the same. Samadarshanaha is not in that sense. Are you able to follow? He sees the distinctions, he sees the differences, and yet his higher vision makes him to, his higher stage of evolution makes him to discount all this, ignore all this, and continue to serve. Are you okay till now? Sarvatra Samadarshanaha means everybody has contributed to you. Whether they are ignorant or wise is their problem. But you have been the recipient of their, you have been the recipient. So Samadarshanaha. Are you able to follow? Irrespective of who they are, what they are, you have been a beneficiary. You have been the recipient. The fact that you are being the recipient, you understand what, are you able to follow? You understand what I should do, how I can be of some service. Such a person very soon will be able to see Brahman everywhere. Such a person, very soon he will be able to recognize the supreme underlying reality. You need to understand there are no grades of realities, but then you need to grow in grades. What is it that in grades? That's what I explained. You see the Sarvatra Sama Darshanaha. Sarvatra Dama Darshanaha means he perceives. What does he perceive? He's so endowed with this knowledge all the time. He's so consolidated in this knowledge all the time. What is that knowledge? In the ultimate sense, the knowledge means, what is the knowledge in the ultimate sense? Knowledge in the ultimate sense, Sutre Manigana Iva, the string that holds the beads together. Relatively, you see, as your, what he calls as, the circle of identification increases, that circle becomes one. If you have identified with the family, that family becomes one. If you identify with the community becomes one. One means what here? Not all of them will, not everybody will be consolidated into one body. Not everybody will be consolidated into one. What does one means here? What is one? Your mental attitude. It's not that they are still distinct and different only. They still carry their own distinctions. They still carry their own individual natures. Everybody will carry their own individual gunas. That doesn't change. But what changes? Something in you changes. They don't change. They remain the same, but something in you changed. That is called self-unfoldment. What is in you that has changed? The vision. What is the vision? Identification. Okay, what is the opposite of identification? Non-identification. Nah? What is the opposite of identification? Self-centeredness. Whenever you ask what is the opposite of identification, don't give linguistic opposite. Non-identification. That is linguistic opposite. Are you able to follow? Identification illanna, what does it mean? Understand it from that angle. If there is no identification, means there is self-centeredness. What is self-centeredness means? That you don't need explanation. We all know that already. What is self-centeredness? That explanation is not required. But give some explanation, sir. We don't understand that self-centeredness. Give some explanation. Stand in front of the mirror. You don't need any explanation. When you stand in front of the mirror, you will know personification, perfection in self-centeredness. The moment you move out of that, that is identification. Are you able to follow? Self-centeredness means attention upon oneself all the time. And this self-attention is there so deep-rooted. The self-attention is so deep-rooted. Even when you go to a temple and prostrate, you want to notice how many people are noticing that you are prostrating. Nobody is noticing. It's not so. They will follow. In everything that I do, the string is self-centeredness. Knowledge means it has changed. That's the only difference. Are you able to see the difference? Ignorance means in everything the attention is self-centeredness. The ego, the jiva, the ego, the jiva. Attention is on that. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha means seeing the unifying factor. And what is unifying factor? When you say my family, to that extent, oneness is with that 5, 10, 15. 15 languages are on the family, isn't it? Family means two now. Husband and wife same family. We are a family means what? Husband and wife are living together. Of course, in separate rooms, not in the same room. That is too much to live. Impossible to live. Of course, in separate rooms, but at least we are two. Yeah, that means Opposite of that is identification. Self unfoldment. You have grown when you are able to identify. Sarvatra sama darshana. Another quality he gives is, which is throughout the Bhagavad Gita, you keep hearing this again and again and again. Another test he gives is sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Maybe in 700 verses, he would have mentioned it 400 times. Seeing the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Sees the self as all beings and all beings as his self. That's all. That's no. Again, it means there is no distinction and differences. Many names, many forms. Many names, many forms in the dream, and all abide in the mind. And everything in the dream is nothing but the mind. You can understand with that example also. The various nama rupa is seen, but everything rests on the consciousness. Everything rests on this consciousness. ரொம்ப ஈஸி இதெல்லாம். டெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் அன்ஃபோல்ட்மெண்ட் புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுலாம் வெரி ஈஸி டு டாக். Just as all parts of the body, even though they are distinct and different, is seen as one. All parts of the body is distinct and different. The eyes are different, the ears are different, the nose is different, everything is different. In and through the differences, you understand it is my body. There is the oneness, the integrating factor. Recognizing the integrating factor is recognizing the oneness. And what is the integrating factor? Brahman. How does Brahman become the integrating factor? What is Brahman? Consciousness is Brahman. And consciousness is everywhere. In that sense, it is oneness. The I is the common factor. Everybody uses I know. Everybody has the sense of I know. Everybody has the sense of I. That sense of I-ness, distinct and different from the various nama rupa that we all have. The I-ness is common in everybody, but the nama rupa is distinct and indifferent in everybody. So what is seeing the self in all beings and all beings in the self means? Recognizing the I factor. Recognizing the I. Eliminating the suffix and identifying with the prefix. There are two things, prefix and suffix. In the word, in the sentence, in the assertion, I am Arvindan. Arvindan becomes the suffix. I is the prefix. Shifting the attention from the suffix to the prefix. Shifting the attention, which is what we saw already. Shifting the attention from self-centeredness to focusing on the suffix is self-centeredness. Identifying what the prefix is right, knowledge. Identifying with the suffix is self-centeredness. Prefix, the I, the I, the I. Out of ignorance, we have mixed up so much that the suffix and prefix we don't understand at all in the normal sense. When we say, I am Arvindan, நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி ரெண்டெல்லாம் கிடையாது சார். There is only one. What? There is only one. What is that one? Arvindan. அவ்வளவுதான். வேற ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. Only I am Arvindan. Arvindan is Arvindan. What is the problem? Where is the I separate from Arvindan? Summa, you keep saying there are two, there are two, there are two. There are no two. There is only one. What is that one? What is that one? சங்கர், அவ்வளவுதான். இல்லையா? இல்ல எந்த சங்கர், அது கரெக்டா சொல்லணும். இல்லையா? இதுல எந்த சங்கர்? There are no prefixes and suffixes. There is only one. That is me, ignorance. Knowledge comes and says there are two, the prefix and the suffix. Ability to segregate the two. Ability to understand there are two in the first place. That itself is a very huge leap in understanding. Recognizing that comes much later. Forget about recognizing that. In the initial stages, at least we have to conceive that there are these two, the prefix and the suffix. What is that prefix? Adhishtanam is the prefix. On that adhishtanam, the changes happening is the suffix. Adhishtanam means the unchanging base is the adhishtanam. And then upon the unchanging base, changes happen. That is the suffix. Upon the unchanging base, the changes happen. Now you have the choice. What? To focus on the adhishtanam or to focus on the changes. The moving wheel, this is Upanishad. The moving wheel is supported by the unmoving axle. The moving wheel is supported by the unmoving axle. And it is the unmoving axle that keeps the wheel steady. It is the unmoving axle that keeps the wheel moving, rotation, steady. But the focus is on the moving wheel that you miss the unmoving axle. The suffix is the wheel, the prefix is the axle. The prefix is that. That prefix is, you can call it as I, you can call it as God, you can call it as Brahman, you can call it as self, any word you can use for it. But then there is an adhishthana. There is that base. When all names and forms disappear, names and forms appear. Carefully follow now. The Nama Rupa has an appearance. If it has an appearance means it will, all that appears will disappear. That is why we say appearance is birth, disappearance is death. All that appears will disappear. In and through these appearances and disappearances, what is the material? What is the cause? What is recognizing that is I. Recognizing that is the prefix, the I, seeing the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Why? Because the self I in you is the self I in everywhere. The I in you is the I in everybody. And out of ignorance, they believe that they are not two. First Vedanta comes and says, recognize these two. What is the two? The prefix and the suffix. Recognize the prefix and the suffix. And then disassociate from the. See, if you rightly recognize, we don't have to tell you disassociate Allah. For the moment you rightly recognize, disassociation will happen by itself. Why? How does disassociation becomes automatic? Disassociation becomes automatic because when you see the adhishtanam and the changes, your focus will be on the adhishtanam and the changes will stop bothering you and the changes will stop affecting you and the changes will stop disturbing you. If not, the changes bothers, the changes affects. And somehow if things are made changeless, life becomes happy. If somehow things are made changeless, life becomes happy. Ignorance. So the test of unfoldment here. What is the test of unfoldment here? Number one, Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Number two, sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. By virtue of what? United to the self by yoga. United to the self by yoga. Here, the word yoga means meditation. The person who has reached that meditative state, or the person who has reached the state of self-realization. How did he achieve that? United to the self by yoga. What is a unifying factor? Yoga is a unifying factor. Yoga means the constant effort to unite is yoga. Not part-time work in the morning, part-time work in the evening. Not once in a week effort. Yoga is the continuous effort. 24/7 effort is yoga. A person who has done that sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Yoga focus panninda, then how do we do what we ought to do? I'm the problem, isn't it? Yoga, then how do we do what we ought to do? To drop everything and run away. What is yoga? Shifting the attention from the suffix to the prefix. Self-centeredness, you shift the attention. That is yoga. The effort that you put to shift the attention from self-centeredness to the unifying factor is yoga. And united to the self by yoga, he sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. So 3 verses. He gives the test of unfoldment. This is verse number 29. We study verse number 30. 30 padinga.
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति
He who sees me everywhere and sees all in me, I am not lost to him, nor is he lost to me. Another. He who sees me everywhere and sees all in me, I am not lost to him, nor is he lost to me. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati. The sarvatra samadarshanaha is continuing with the same thing. Sarvatra samadarshanaha. Sarvabhutastam atmanam sarvabhutani jatmani, previous verse. Now he is saying, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati. Sees. If you are seeing Brahman everywhere, you are seeing me, Arjuna. Seeing me and seeing Brahman are not two different. Both are one and the same. He who sees me everywhere and sees all in me. Previous verse he said, seeing the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Self, we don't know what self is. In this verse, he is replacing it. Same idea, nothing different. The same idea. He who sees me everywhere and sees all in me, I am not lost to him, nor is he lost to me. Beautiful. I feel lost completely, sir. Krishna says you will not feel lost at all. I feel lost completely. I am lost. Of course you are lost. Yeah, you are lost. In what you are lost? In what are you lost? Lost in the body, the mind, the intellect. Lost in the perceptions, the emotions, the thoughts. You are lost in that. Lost means losing the real identity. That's what you say. I am lost means you have lost your real identity. Self-realization and God realization is one and the same. That's what he's saying. He's saying me. Me refers to Brahman. Me refers to Atman. Me refers to Brahman, self. Seeing implies right knowledge. That's what we understand. Seeing implies right. People understand God will give darshan and go away, no? People misunderstand. God means he will come, sarvatra samadarshan. God will come, give darshan for I don't know, for how many minutes, for how many seconds, you don't know. He will come, he will give darshan, and then he will disappear. And then again you have to ask him to appear. Depending upon your demand for appearance, he will come, give darshan, and then go away. That is the finite God. That is not infinite. For his coming and going, no. It's finite. Samadarshanaha means he sees it. He sees you have the darshan, and then this darshan doesn't leave at all. That is that is what he calls it as, I am not lost to him, nor is he lost to me. Means what? You have the vision and you cannot lose it after that. That's what vision means. Darshana means that. Darshana means you see it and it is permanent. You don't lose it after that. Why you don't lose it? Why you can't lose it? You can lose something that which is conditioned by time, space, causation. That which is beyond time, space, causation cannot be lost. That which is finite can be lost. That which is infinite cannot be lost. If you say you are losing it, you had it and you lost it, means it is finite by nature. Then only you are able to follow the logic. To lose something, it has to be finite. To lose something, it has to be bound by time, space, and causation. Then only you can lose it. That which is beyond time, space, and causation, that which is not conditioned by anything, cannot be lost. Therefore, this darshana, you can never lose this darshana. You need not worry about. Supposing I see Brahman and again I come back to ignorance, what will happen? He says that is not possible. He is not, I am not lost to him. He is not lost to me. I am not lost to him and he is not lost to me. It means what? You see God everywhere. It's not that you see God everywhere. You see only God. It's not that you see only God. There is only God. It's not that you see God. There is only God, that's all. Isavasyam idam sarvam Isha. Asya idam sarvam. Isavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam. You see that. The moment you see it, how can you lose it? You cannot lose it. I am not lost to God and God is not lost to me. Are you able to follow? I am not lost to him means I am not lost to God, nor is he lost. Both ways. It's not one-sided, he's saying, that's all. What is he meaning? It is not one-sided. I am in love, sir, but the other person is not loving what to do. No, it is not like that. It is two-sided. Are you able to follow? It is you see it, you become it, and you cannot lose it. Intellectually, it is impossible to conceive that which you cannot lose. Because intellect can conceive only that which has a beginning and an end. Intellect cannot conceive of something that cannot be lost. Intellect cannot conceive the permanency. In that sense, It is transcending the body, mind, intellect complex. In that sense, it is transcending it. Once he attains the state of Brahman, physical expression will be of Brahman, mental expression is of Brahman, intellectual expression is of Brahman, actions, perceptions, emotion, thoughts, everything is Brahman. In the ordinary person's case, what is happening? Understand the contrast, it becomes easy. In the ordinary person's case, the ordinary person is one who is lost in that perception, emotion, and thought. He is lost in that. Some emotion he is lost, some thought he is lost, something he is lost. Here is a state. He says he is not lost at all. He is not lost. So first statement says, he who sees me everywhere and sees all in me. It's the same verse restated. Same message restated using different words. Idea is the same. Concept is the same. It is not a different idea. He's just putting it in a different form. Perception happens. And he is completely detached from that perception. Action happens and he is detached from the action. Emotion happens and he is detached from the emotion. From the suffix, the attachment has happened to the prefix. Detachment from the suffix and attachment to the prefix. If you do that, I am not lost to him, he is not lost to me. So detach from something and get attached to something else. And getting attached to something else, not within the same boundary. You don't drop one toy and pick up another toy. Generally, what people do, they will drop one toy only to pick up another toy. They will pick up another toy. From one Barbie doll, it will go to another Barbie doll. But you don't move away from doll. That is not detachment. Detachment is you are completely out of that level, and because your attention has shifted to the something above that. And what is that above? Brahman. So, verse number 30. He who sees me everywhere and sees all in me, I am not lost to him, nor is he lost to me. Verse number 31. Now, 4 verses, same idea. Huh? 4 verses, 29 to 32, the same idea. 4 verses. We move on to verse number 31.
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते.
He who established in oneness, worship me abiding in all beings, that yogi dwells in me, whatever be his mode of living. He who, established in oneness, worships me, abiding in all beings, that yogi dwells in me, whatever be his mode of living. Same idea is continuing. The same idea being restated. Nothing different. Only addition that he brings in here is whatever be his mode of living. Other than that, other than that, he is repeating the same idea. Whatever be his mode of living means what? A carpenter will continue to be an enlightened carpenter. A teacher will continue to be an enlightened teacher. A plumber will continue to be an enlightened plumber. The business person will continue to be the enlightened business person. The king will continue to be the enlightened king. That doesn't change. So, spiritual unfoldment is not the change of activity. Spiritual unfoldment is not a change of activity. Spiritual unfoldment means activity continues, but your attention has shifted. Action continues. So beautifully he says, whatever be his mode of living. Whatever be his mode of living is whatever he does. Living means doing. Whatever he does, he will not lose the vision. Whatever be the lifestyle, the jnani, the enlightened one, doesn't lose sight of the Atman. Whatever be the lifestyle, that is not lost. So the vision of Vedanta is not change of lifestyle. It is the change of vision. It's not that lifestyle change. It is the change of vision. A non-forgetfulness of the presence of reality. You don't forget it. You forget when something else becomes. When do you forget? Memory pochinava. When do you forget? You lose interest in one. Forgetting means losing. Forgetting means having lost interest. That's what it means. You lost interest in this because you have found interest elsewhere. When your interest shifts elsewhere, the previous would be forgotten. Are you able to follow? A non-forgetfulness of the divine is knowledge. What makes you non-forget? Because there is nothing superior to this. See, your attention will shift only when you see something superior. No, are you able to follow? Your attention will shift only when you see something superior. Automatically, your attention will shift. And if you have found that which is the supreme most, beyond which there is the above this, there is nothing higher. What will happen? You don't shift. You don't forget. That is non-forgetfulness. Are you able to follow? Forgetfulness not in the sense of memory. Meaning you have found something, you have found something supreme, you have found something better. The constant awareness of God Ishvara in oneself and in others. This is established in oneness. Constant awareness of Ishvara in oneself, God in oneself, and God in other. More variety goes, I'm using the word Ishvara. Yeah. Brahman, Brahman, Brahman solinda lullaby mari nalla தூக்கம் தான் வரும். Nothing happens. Oh, yeah. So different words, all இல்லையா? So different words use பண்றது என்னத்துக்கு? Just to make sure that I don't fall off to sleep. அவ்வளவுதான், வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை. Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. I'm falling off to the constant awareness of God in oneself and in others. You have a choice. You can see the nama rupa in you and get carried away by it, or you can see the nama rupa in others and get carried away by it, or you can see the Ishvara in you. You can see the self in you, and you can see the self in the other. If you are getting carried away by nama rupa of the other, you will be getting carried away by the nama rupa in you also. It is interconnected. It's not that I have seen God, sir, but outside and all I'm seeing only bad people. சுத்தி இருக்கிறவங்கெல்லாம் can't tolerate them, sir, but I have seen God. I know what God is. I have seen God, but others around me, I'm seeing only Rakshasas and Asuras. That is not seeing. So you use, so established in oneness means established in the divine in you, established in the divine in the other. Convinced about the divine in you and convinced about the divine in the other. I am convinced about the divine in me, but how can I be convinced about the divine in mother-in-law? He says, no. How can I be convinced about the divine there? Everywhere else, okay, divine, but there, how can it be? Convinced about the divine in you and convinced about the divine in the other. Worships me, abiding in all beings. He worships me. Bhajate. He worships me. He is constantly worshipping. What is worshipping? Remembrance is worshipping. That's all. Worshipping God means remember God, they say, no. So what is worship means? Worship equals remembrance. Worshipping equals remembrance. Remembrance is dependent on the value that you place. Remembrance always happens based on the value that you place. If something is more valuable, you will remember it more. If something is most valuable, even in your deep sleep, you will not forget it. Yeah. Even in deep sleep, I will remember the bank balance, no? Even in deep sleep, I will remember how much gold I have, no? Supposing if you say, how much gold do you have? I need to check, sir. I really don't know how much gold I have. How many shirts you have? I have to check how many dresses you have. But how much gold you have, you will know that, no? Exactly. Remembrance is based on the value that you place. What is the real value? Divine is the real value. What is the real value? Divine. So wherever you place the real value, you can never forget. Or you forget when your values goes on, When your values goes on shifting, you keep forgetting. Ultimate. What is it? In that sense, worships me, abiding in all beings. Me and others are not different, Arjuna. It is me only. That's what he said. Me and others are not different, Arjuna. It's me. Similarly, you and me are not different, Arjuna. You and me are also. That's what he said. Are you able to follow? You and me is also the same, Arjuna. There is no difference between me and. There is no difference between me and you. There is no difference between me and others. In fact, there is only me. In the ego. To say there is only me. That's where when the self-realized master talks about me, it looks like they look like very arrogant. Looks like they don't have any humility. Rombo arrogant, sir. Rombo, they are too egoistic. One of my uncles in the family is supposed to be, everybody in my family thinks he's a philosopher. Nobody thinks as me as a philosopher in my family. I'm struggling to convince my wife also that I'm a philosopher. Still I'm battling. And everybody is convinced that uncle is a philosopher. Why they thought he's a philosopher is still a miracle to me. They thought. So when I studied Ramatirtha, I gave him 2 volumes and said, fantastic mama, இது படிங்கோ ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்குது. No, beautiful படிங்கோ. He read 1 chapter and gave the books back. Say, அதுக்குள்ள why? No, he's too arrogant. I can't handle his arrogance. I said, what? He's too arrogant. Why is he? No, wherever he says, Rama says so, Rama says so, Rama says so. ஒரு ஹியூமினிட்டியோட பேசவே தெரியலையே. It's not a statement of arrogance, it's a statement of fact. What is a statement of fact? What all you see there, Arjuna, is me. Okay, who are you? Arjuna, adum me. Clear? The seer is me, the seen is me. There is no distinction between the seer and the seen is one. The seer is me, the seen is also me. Whatever be his mode of living, this vision will not get disturbed. That is the test of establishment. The test of establishment is what? Whatever be your mode of living, whatever your lifestyle, whatsoever you do, this vision will not be lost. That's why he beautifully concludes. Whatever be his mode of living. Whatever be his mode of living. So, the same idea repeating. The same idea is being restated again and again and again. What is important for us to understand is, whatever be his mode of living is a reference to Jivan Mukta. Whatever be his mode of living, he will not lose it. Are you able to follow? Is a reference to a liberated person now, irrespective of what he is doing, where he is, who he is, what he is doing. Are you able to see that now? It's a reference to a person who is liberated. Jivan Mukta he is. Now, in this verse, he says, whatever be his mode of living, he's saying. Whatever be his mode of living means, he is a butcher, butchering, enlightened master, butchering. There is a difficulty. Yeah. Enlightened master doing carpentry, enlightened master doing plumbing. Similarly, enlightened master butchering. Whatever be his mode of living is a reference to Jivan Mukti. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't use the word Jivan Mukti. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, he gives various aspects, various verses. He keeps reiterating this idea of Jivan Mukti. Whatever be his mode of living, the vision is not lost. Otherwise, we always believe that liberation is not possible. First of all, we are not interested in liberation. That's a different story altogether. Who's interested in liberation? We are not interested in liberation. If at all we are interested in liberation, we are interested in liberation is liberation from the ego. We all want liberation to make the ego intact. Our concept of liberation is liberation from problems. Our concept of liberation is liberation from worries and anxieties. But jiva, ego has to continue. Ego should not go away. That is our concept of ego must remain as it is, but it should not go through this worry, anxiety, sorrow, suffering. Are you able to follow? What is liberation? Liberation not from problems of life, liberation from ego. And that person has attained that liberation now. He who, whatever be his mode of living, read it like that. Whoever he is, whatever be his mode of living, established in oneness, worships me, abiding in all beings, that yogi dwells in me. That yogi dwells in me. You can't escape me, Arjuna, he's saying. That's all. You can't escape me. Where? Because wherever you go, where can you go? Where can you go? Because you and me are one. Where can you go? How can you? You can't. Out of ignorance, you are thinking that it is separate. Out of ignorance, you are thinking it's all different and separate. But the reality is what? Such is the vision. Such is the conduct of the perfected yogi. What is the vision? What is the conduct of the perfect yogi? Irrespective of what he does, actions don't disturb his vision. Whatsoever he does doesn't disturb his vision. Whatsoever he perceives outside doesn't disturb the vision. Such is the conduct, such is the wise yogi. Never loses the spiritual status. That's what he's saying. You can't lose it. You can't lose it. You can't lose your spiritual status. Yat gatva nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. You cannot, after attaining it, you cannot lose it. After attaining it, you cannot lose it. Very difficult is to, and I say very difficult is to accept the fact of liberation from ego is what is liberation. We think liberation means liberation from the others or liberation from worry and anxieties. Liberation means liberation from ego. Liberation means liberation from self-centeredness, from ego. Ego and self-centeredness are synonymous. You don't need to say it. One side of it is self-centeredness, another side of it is ego. Whatever be his mode of living, whatsoever he does, Arjuna, even if you are fighting, you may kill or you may get killed. It doesn't really matter. That vision will not be lost. That's the implication. Right, Arjuna? Here, he is persuading Arjuna not to imaginary fighter. He is persuading Arjuna to real battle, real slaughter. Even if you slaughter, whatever be his mode of living, even if you turn into a slaughterer, what will happen? That vision you will not lose. But then, how is that possible, sir? Self-realized person means, how can he slaughter after that? We have affection, how can you slaughter after that? Slaughter with affection, that's all. The vision of Vedanta is very difficult to digest. Humanity, we are not that matured. We don't have that maturity to digest the vision of Vedanta. Our vision is very narrow. Our mind is so narrow. Our concepts, our vision, our ethics, our morals, everything made us so narrow, so narrow, so narrow. And Krishna is opening up a vision which is far, far beyond, far beyond our ability to become. First thing that we have to do is theoretically accept it as a possibility. That's all. Accept it as a possibility theoretically first. Then only we can even probe and do something to attain it. If we dismiss the possibility, we can never aspire for it. And once you understand it, you know that it is not a theoretical possibility. It's the truth. It's the truth. It is the truth. So, whatever be his mode of living, he is established in oneness, worships me, abiding in all beings. That yogi dwells in me. That yogi dwells in me. With this, we conclude verse number 31. Next week, we continue from verse number 32 onwards. Clarifications. Yes.
Understanding correct I see one, then you say learn to see two, then you see one. First you see one, then you say no, it is not one, see two, and then in that two you see one.
No, the question that she is asking is first to see one, and then you see two, and then you see one. I am spinning around. You have connected two separate things. You have connected two separate things. In the context of where you see two, I said recognize that there is the prefix and suffix. In that context, I said you have to see two.
First one is I see one. First is another context of one I see.
Seeing oneness means recognizing the unifying factor. One is the state of evolution. Another is what is it that you practice to get to that state? There are two separate things. One is, what is that state of perfection? State of perfection is where you see one. How do you do that? What is the practice that you do? First, you have to recognize the two. What is the two? There is the prefix and then there is the suffix. And all the time your attention is on the suffix. From the suffix, your attention must shift to the prefix. One is the path, another is the one who has reached that vision. See oneness means it's a figurative way. I explained it already. What is seeing oneness means? Not in the absolute sense. What is seeing oneness means in the relative sense, I said. What is seeing oneness in the relative sense? Family. Now you are seeing oneness. Country. Now you are seeing oneness. So that is a separate practice. This is a separate practice. These two practices don't connect it. The confusion is because you connected the two separate practices as one. What is told separately, now full stop which பேசும்போது she just put a yeah. What I put a full stop and went to the next. Innocently, she put a comma. There's not a continuity. Are you able to follow? That is a separate one. This is a separate one. Second one.
When I said I see one and
What is the second clarification?
First,
No, I'm asking for what is the second clarification.
The first clarification is now when I said you see only the body, mind, intellect, you believe that is only there. It is not like that. You should learn to see the two in that. In that.
I don't remember that. I don't remember what I said. Second clarification.
If guna karma, if I'm not bringing sattva at all because predominantly it is only rajas and tamas. I'm just bringing those two for now. So Surkama Sanna, rajas and tamas guna vandatu karma manasam vachikam kayakamli and the rajas and tamas.
No, wait. I never used all this in these three verses.
You didn't use, I'm asking.
No. We take references only from these three verses. I'm asking for clarifications from these three
Yes,
verses.
only I'm saying.
Yes, don't bring in Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Manasam, Vachikam, Kayakam, Karma and all. Don't bring in. What is the clarification?
So the guna karma oda வெளிப்பாடு வரும்போது இதுல யூனிஃபைங் ஃபேக்டர் கண்ணுக்கு தெரியலையே. அது எப்படி
There is no correct. There is no unifying factor in the guna karma. That's what I said. In the guna karma, there is no unifying factor. The enlivening factor is the same. Where did I say guna karma is the same? Guna karma is different. That's why we said the various beads, various shapes, various sizes means what? They are not the same. The ornaments are different means they are not the same. So guna karma is not the same. Guna karma is different.
I'm saying it is different. But where is the unifying factor?
The unifying factor is the unseen. The unifying factor is unseen. That's what I concluded by saying. Consider the possibility that there is a unifying factor first. Consider the possibility that there is a unifying factor first. Are you able to follow? Consider the factor that there is a unifying factor, then probe into it, then we may find it. That is seeing the oneness. Guna karma is not the same. They are different. How can the ring and necklace be the same? They are different. Different attribute, different property. That's what I started by saying. Seeing one, it's not everything will become into one. I said that very clearly in the beginning. It's not everything will become into one. It is a vision. It is not a perception. It is an understanding. Are you able to follow? You don't see everything. It is an understanding. All are my countrymen. Everything become one. You still there are differences, no? Yes or no? And still if you say all are oneness means, what is oneness here? Are you seeing oneness? What is this oneness here when you say all are my country? What is that oneness here? It is a, what would you call that as? It's a vision. It's an understanding, not a physical perception. Are you able to see the difference? It's not a physical perception, it is a vision. When you say my family, it's not that you don't have differences amongst the family, no. It's not that there is no differences amongst the family. But then when you say my family, what does it mean? All differences disappeared. Differences are still there. But then you are seeing something. You are seeing something beyond, and that seeing beyond makes the differences disappear. You see something beyond by which the differences becomes insignificant, disappear. That's what oneness is. That's what seeing that oneness. Are you able to follow? In that sense, seeing the oneness. Are you able to follow? Yes. Anything else is there? I finished.
Yes, Narayan and Mala. They have posted the question.
Oh, they have posted. Okay. Is it okay? Self-liberated hangman is conceivable. Is self-liberated butcher a hyperbole? Hyperbole, na?
Exaggerated statement, not to be taken literally.
Exactly. Correct. I'm just checking. I know it. I'm just checking whether he knows it. A self-liberated butcher is a reality because self-realization is a state where actions doesn't make any difference. Actions don't make any difference. Actions go on based on swabhava and swadharma. It goes on. It doesn't change. It doesn't differ. Therefore, self-liberated butcher is not a hyperbole. Self-liberated butcher is a distinct reality. And one of the Upanishadic seer, one of the Upanishadic guru is a butcher. In fact, there are two gurus. One is the wife. Another is the butcher. Gautama, the boy, wants to learn this knowledge. He goes and asks, who do I learn this knowledge from? They said, see, there is a lady in the town. Go and learn from her. So, as he goes, he rests in a place. Carefully follow the story here. As he goes, he rests in a place under a tree. A bunch of crows comes and sit on the tree and they droppings, the crows droppings on his face, and he wakes up. In anger, he looks at the crows and the crows are all dead. He just wipes the face and goes to the lady. She said, she said, what can I do? Gautama, the seeker, the boy says, I have come to learn Brahma Vidya. I asked everybody who can teach me Brahma Vidya. They said, you can teach me Brahma Vidya. That's why I have come to you. Oh, you want Brahma Vidya? Okay. As she is about to start the Brahma Vidya, the husband comes. He says, wait. He says, wait. He goes, attends to the husband. This is the story, yeah? She's attending, feeding him. Finally, what she's doing, she is giving to the husband. Yeah. You know that, no? சாப்பாடு போட்ட உடனே பானும் மடிச்சு கொடுத்தாதான் கம்ப்ளீட்னு அர்த்தம். சாப்பாடு போட்டு முடிச்சுட்டு தட்டை அழுவி வச்சுட்டு போங்கன்னா இல்லையா, வாஷ் த பிளேட் அண்ட் லீவ்னா இட் இஸ் நாட் ஃபீடிங். இல்லையா, ஃபீடிங்னா யூ ஹேவ் டு கிவ் த பான். Then only it's complete. And she is doing that. இப்போ அதெல்லாம் பண்ணணுன்ற அவசியம் இல்லை. I'm just saying that's what the story says. Whoever can do, they can do. இல்லையா, story says that. And Gautama is getting irritated because here he is sitting for Brahma Vidya and that lady is pampering the. Get angry. And the lady comes out and says, and he looks at the lady with anger because he is made to wait. The lady says, what do you think? You think I am a crow? Huh? You think I am a crow? Gautama gets a shock. He falls at their feet and says, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I can't teach Brahma Vidya for you. There is another person who can teach. Who is that person? Go, there is this person outside the town. There is this person outside the town. Go and learn from him. He goes. What is outside the town? The butcher shop will be outside the town. The butcher shop. So he goes there and asks the person, the butcher, I want to know who this person is. I have come to learn Brahma Vidya. I want to know who this person is. He says, you want to learn Brahma Vidya? Yes. He says, wait. Wait. So he saw him washing the knife, washing the place, bringing the goat, worshipping the goat, cutting, skinning, cleaning, selling, and then finally cleaned up everything, washed his hands and legs, came to him and said, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? He said, are you the one going to teach me Brahma Vidya? Are you able to follow? Whatever be his mode of living, that is the vision of Vedanta. Whatever be the mode of living, you can be a person, family person taking care of the husband, or you can be the butcher. Janaka wanted to follow Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra told Janaka, why do you want to follow me? You go back and you run the kingdom. Why are you wanting to follow me? Are you able to follow? So all these are not hyperboles. All these are reality. Because no activity in the eyes of Vedanta is inferior or superior. No activity is good or bad. Are you able to follow now the answer? No activity is superior or inferior. No activity can be called as good or bad per se. Therefore, whatever be his mode of living, that is how Vedanta brings in liberation to everybody. That's why Vedanta doesn't ask you to change from what you are doing. It is not asking for change of action. It is asking for the shift of attitude in the action. Like he says, it's not what you do that matters. It is. Remember that in every lecture he will say it 20 times. It's not what you do that matters. It is how you do it. It's not what you do that matters. It is how you do it. How implies the attitude. What implies the mode of living? You can be a butcher. You can be a hangman. You can be anybody. Are you okay till now? Kartrutva is the problem in action. Action is not the problem. Kartrutva in action is the problem. Whatever be your lifestyle, Kartrutva isn't there, you are a free mason. So action is not a problem. It is the Kartrutva behind the action the problem. Is it okay, Arranji?
Can I stretch the understanding by saying that the death is inevitable? The animal has to die. The animal goes through the death through a saintly hand called a butcher.
No. He says it has got nothing to do with the saintliness or the goat. It is, this is what my swabhava is. What is the swabhava? Somebody has to be vegetarian, somebody will be vegetarian, somebody will be non-vegetarian. a farmer takes care of the vegetarian, who will take care of the non-vegetarian? Are you able to follow? It has got nothing to do with that. It is a very different vision, which is too much for us to digest. In the modern day context, it is too difficult because we have too many conflicting, contradictory value systems. Very confused value systems we are having. In the vision of Vedanta, it is very simple. It is very clear. What is it? All fields of activity is important. Supposing you are living in an island, take the case. You are living in an island where vegetation doesn't happen. You have to survive. What do you do? Where vegetation is available, I need not cause pain. Are you able to follow? Where vegetation is available, we need not cause pain. But then, whatever be his mode of living means what? A very clear understanding that the field of activity doesn't make any. The spiritual status is not determined by the field of activity. The spiritual status is determined by no kartrutva. You can be a butcher and not have any kartrutva. You are an enlightened person. I can be a philosophy teacher and have tremendous kartrutva. It is a product of ignorance. Are you able to follow? I can be talking on Gita and have tremendous kartrutva. What is the kartrutva? Whatever be it. Though from outside it may look like a very noble spiritual action, in the vision of Vedanta, Krishna will say you are ignorant person. And that person seems to be a very bad person. He will say he is spiritually evolved. Why? Because it's not the karma, it is the kartrutva. Remember the formula always. It is not the karma, it is the kartrutva. And in life, we always focus on the karma, missing the kartrutva. So it is not about what reasoning he is giving. It's not about all that, because that is all debatable. Who is he to say he is saintly? Who's to debate? It is not that. Are you able to follow, Narayanji? It's not from that angle. He says, this is what I ought to do, I do. There is no kartrutva. Fight the battle without kartrutva, Arjuna. That is the way for moksha for you. And fighting means what? Cutting somebody's hands, cutting somebody's legs. That is why, are you able to follow? That's why most of the people interpret the fight as not the actual fight. They interpret it as an internal fight. Because if they take it as the real fight, we will have the difficulty. What is the difficulty? Self-liberated butcher hyperbole. Arjuna himself becomes a hyperbole here. Are you able to follow? Arjuna himself becomes a hyperbole here. Because he is saying murder, slaughter, kill.
In case of Arjuna, I am able to understand because he is doing it for righteousness. In case of butcher, I am unable to get it.
There is no righteousness here. What is righteousness? Get rid of the kartrutva is the righteousness. What is righteousness? See, we have misunderstood righteousness means murdering the Kauravas. What is righteousness? Are you able to follow? We need to have the very clear understanding. What is righteousness? Righteousness, Arjuna, is not in you eliminating the Kauravas. Who are you to eliminate them? They are killed already. Their own actions have killed them already. If you see Krishna's arguments, he says, if their own actions have killed them already, who are you to do that? You don't have to establish righteousness. Righteousness gets established by itself. Then what is it Krishna is telling Arjuna? Become righteous. Righteous means what? Drop the
Kartritva.
Drop the kartrutva. That's righteous, Arjuna. I am doing this. Why? Because I don't have kartrutva. Krishna says about himself. Are you able to follow the difference? So, because he makes it very clear in the beginning, in the first 20 verses of the chapter 2 itself, Krishna makes it very clear that their own actions decides their fate. Who are you and me to call it as righteous or unrighteous? Their own actions. It means they have dug their own grave. But you got a chance here, Arjuna, for what? What is your chance here? Understand that you got to fight without kartrutva. And fighting without this kartrutva is what righteousness is in the vision of Vedanta. Are you able to follow? In the vision of Vedanta, what is righteous? No kartrutva. It means whatever you do becomes good after that. Adavum Nandru, he says, no. The kartrutva is gone. Whatever you do becomes good. Is it okay, Narayanji? It is eliminating the kartrutva is righteous. Okay?
All right.
Is there anything else?
Mala. She has also posted the question.
Yeah, I'm trying to. என்னுடைய கிளாஸை மாற்றணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். டிஸ்டன்ஸ் விஷனுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டு இப்போ கேமரா இதில் உட்காந்து பார்க்கும்போது இட்ஸ் நாட் ஏன்னா இப்படி பார்க்க இப்படி. Is it possible or normal to have the vision of Samadarshina at one point of time and at another point of time we become self-centered? Can we be divine at one point and demonical at another point? That's what she's asking. Are you able to follow? She's asking, can we be divine at one point and demonical at another point? That is the current status of a human being. The current status of a human being is Mishram, mixed. Mala. The law of life is Mishram. Mishram means mixture. You are a combination of these two. The idea is to get established, but at any given point of time, you will be a mixture only. So, is it possible or normal to be both at the same time? Yes, because that is the law of life. Mishram. Mishratvam equals world. Mishratvam means Mishram means mixture. Mixture means at one point of time you will have Samadarshina, at another point of time you will be self-centered. What is the effort? Minimize the self-centeredness and eliminating it completely is the goal. The goal is that. The very word goal itself means what? The very word goal itself means you are not yet that. Goal nale adan artham. Are you able to follow? It's an ideal. It's a goal. But at any given point of time, you are right. Is it possible? Yes, you are that already. Every human being is a mixture. What is the mixture? Some good values also, some negativities also. That is the nature. So is it normal? It is normal. Only bad, sir. ரொம்ப இன்ஃபீரியாரிட்டி காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் வந்துருதுன்னு அர்த்தம். என்கிட்ட ஒரு நல்லது கூட இல்லை சார். எப்போ எங்க பார்த்தாலும் என்கிட்ட ஒரே தப்பா தான் தெரியறதுன்னா inferiority complex is very high. Sir, I can't see any negativity at all in me. Maybe my fault is I don't have any negativity at all. Huh? That is superiority. Human beings are a mixture. Are you able to follow the answer? So it will be that only. It is a fact that it will be a mixture. What is the effort you put? The effort that you put is to minimize the self-centeredness. Minimize the self-centeredness initially, eliminate it ultimately. So till you minimize it means the very fact that we are saying minimize null in artham. What is the implication here? It will be there. It will be there, but do not pay attention to it. Do not pay. It will be there, but do not pay attention to it. Pay or put your heart and soul in developing the oneness. Put your heart and soul in that. Self-centeredness will come. Self-centeredness will manifest. Self-centeredness will come. What you should do then? Be aware of it and ignore it. Be aware of it and ignore it. Do not pay attention to it. All your attention shifted to the sadhana, the tapas. Not to worry about the existing self-centeredness. It is there, it will be there, it is normal. That's the answer to the question. Self-centeredness illannaka, then you have become self-realized already. You are Brahman already, isn't it? After becoming Brahman, what are we talking? What sadhana? What self? What are we doing? All that. Are you able to follow? Therefore, is it possible? Possibility line, you are that. You means all human beings is a mishram. All human beings is a mishram. Is it okay, Mala? Yeah. With this, we conclude. We continue with verse number 32.